Sometimes an event doesn't just happen. It carves itself into memory, spreads from one tongue to another, and eventually becomes a legend. But what if the stories passed down aren't legends at all? What if they're traces of a hidden truth? In 1989, something happened in a quiet Turkish village, something that hasn't been forgotten even decades later. Dark figures appearing after nightfall, thick fog settling over the land, people vanishing, and unexplained deaths. This is a story that blurs the line between fact and fiction, one that forces not just a village, but all of us to question what we believe is real. If you're ready, let's peel back the dark curtain of the Karadedeler Incident together. By the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. Your support means a lot to me. Welcome to my channel, Discovery of the Mystery, where we will uncover the secrets. On a cold winter night in 1989, something inexplicable began to unfold after dark in Davutlu village, located in Turkey's Thrace region, in the province of Kırklareli. The villagers claimed to have encountered terrifying events, especially after 5 p.m. According to some, a dense fog would descend, and then dark, human-like entities would appear. Some said these beings walked on rooftops, while others claimed their breath was taken away when they made eye contact with them. So many people reported the same things that the incident soon caught the attention of the regional media and received widespread coverage in newspapers. These reports caught the interest of Hakkı, a newly graduated journalist living in Istanbul. Assigned by the newspaper office that covered the story, he traveled to Davutlu village to investigate the events on site. When he arrived at the village, everyone was saying the same things: thick fog, eerie howls, strange lights floating in the sky, and shadowy figures moving in the dark. But above all, no one dared to go outside after 5 p.m. The villagers believed that these beings, which they called Karadedeler, were not human, that they were either jinn or entities from another dimension. Hakkı stayed in the village for 11 days. During that time, he conducted several interviews and recorded footage with his camera. However, he didn't personally witness anything out of the ordinary. Aside from what the villagers told him, he had no concrete evidence. Before leaving, he gave his video camera to a 14-year-old boy from the village, in case something happened at night and he could record it. Just 3 days after returning from the village, Hakkı was taken from his home in Istanbul at midnight by 4 plainclothes gendarmerie officers. He had the tapes he had recorded in the village with him. He was brought to the Kırklareli Gendarmerie Command and interrogated by the senior captain handling the case. The reason for the interrogation left Hakkı in shock. 7 villagers, including the boy to whom he had given the camera, had been found dead. But these were no ordinary deaths. The bodies were partially mutilated. On the wall of one of the crime scenes, the journalist's name had been written in blood, using Arabic letters. To prevent public panic, the gendarmerie officially recorded the incident as a case of madness. The funerals were carried out in utmost secrecy, attended only by the gendarmerie and the villagers. The fact that the incident was never officially documented suggested a serious cover-up in the region. After the interrogation, Hakkı couldn't shake off the shock of what he had experienced. But his journalistic instincts pushed him to return to Davutlu village. However, after going back to the village, he was never heard from again. On Tuesday, February 3, 1989, in a wooded area near the village, Hakkı's boots, coat, bag, and notebook were found. But there was no sign of him, no body, no trace of life. And from that day forward, Hakkı vanished without a trace. The journalist's disappearance made the whole case even more mysterious. But the mystery didn't end there. The senior captain who had interrogated Hakkı retired a year later, citing psychological distress, and moved to Istanbul. He underwent long-term psychiatric treatment. Yet even after all those years, there was something he simply couldn't forget. And in 2006, at the age of just 59, he took his own life with his personal firearm, a single bullet to the head in his own home. Whatever he couldn't forget, he never spoke of it, not even to his family. After his death, the captain's daughter opened his private safe and discovered 3 large envelopes. Inside were the following items: black and white photographs, the journalist Hakkı's notebook, newspaper clippings dated 1989, and 3 videotapes labeled only with the words Karadedeler Incident, 1989. The daughter watched the first tape. It contained interviews with the villagers. The second tape showed Hakkı's interrogation at the gendarmerie outpost. But the third and final tape was the most mysterious of all, the footage recorded by the boy who had been left with the camera. She began watching the tape, but after the first 10 minutes, she was so horrified that she couldn't continue. So what exactly was on that tape? What could have terrified the captain's daughter so deeply? Not long after, the daughter began to suffer from financial troubles, and with them, serious psychological issues. In 2009, she decided to sell the tapes. After that, the story of the Karadedeler incident began to circulate more widely. It was claimed that footage from the tapes had spread online, that some clips had briefly appeared on forums before being deleted, and that several people who had watched the footage reportedly experienced severe psychological distress. Another curious detail emerged. The word Karadedeler had long appeared in old Anatolian folktales, referring to dark beings that couldn't be seen, but whose presence could be felt. So maybe this incident was a modern echo of something much older, perhaps a belief system passed down through generations. The Karadedeler incident has been a topic of debate in Turkey for many years, discussed on countless TV shows, and even adapted into a feature film in 2011. But as time passed, the claims and theories about this dark mystery only grew louder. Just like the tale itself, 2 powerful theories began to dominate discussions about what might have really happened behind the scenes. 1. Were dark entities truly haunting the village? The first theory is based on accepting the events exactly as they were described. In other words, the village was genuinely under the influence of beings either from another world or a different dimension. These entities, referred to as Karadedeler, were believed by some to be jinn, while others claimed they were unknown beings capable of interdimensional travel. The thick fog, the eerie humming, the silhouettes moving across rooftops, the disturbing visions that broke people's minds. Could all of these have been signs of a supernatural invasion? According to some, this incident was a real manifestation of the Karadedeler from Anatolian folk beliefs, beings that had been spoken of for thousands of years, but that no one ever wanted to confront. Hakkı's disappearance, the villagers found mutilated, and most importantly, the captain's psychological collapse. Were all of these pieces of that ancient darkness? 2. Was it all just a cover-up operation? The second theory is quite different and equally shocking. This time, it doesn't involve anything paranormal. Instead, it suggests a carefully constructed scheme orchestrated by people. According to this claim, the Karadedeler incident had illegal operations lurking behind the scenes. In those years, illegal smuggling activities were being carried out across various parts of Turkey. The local gendarmerie commander was turning a blind eye to the flow of contraband in the area. Some even say he was actively involved. A few villagers were allegedly helping with these operations, but for things to go smoothly, they needed to keep the villagers off the streets at night. And this is where the legend of Karadedeler came into play. Gunshots and screams heard at night were part of a deliberate effort to frighten the villagers into staying indoors. That way, smuggled goods could be moved through the village and distributed without interruption. But then came the journalist Hakkı and the camera he left behind. The 14-year-old boy in the village was filming one night, and according to the theory, he didn't capture spirits. But the smuggling operation itself, the gendarmerie quickly found out. At first, the plan was to get rid of the boy, but suspecting that he may have told his family something, the commander escalated things, wiping out the entire family. The deaths were then disguised as a supernatural event in a house overtaken by jinn. The villagers didn't question it. They had come to believe in the Karadedeler myth so deeply that nothing seemed out of the ordinary anymore. As for journalist Hakkı, he was just about to uncover the truth. That made him a threat. He too had to disappear. His body was never found, but his clothes were deliberately left in the woods. The villagers, of course, believed this too was the work of the jinn. Years later, the captain's suicide, driven by overwhelming guilt, would also be linked to this theory. The village of Davutlu, where the incident allegedly took place, still exists today. But even now, no one in the village wants to talk about it. Some believe the Karadedeler incident was real. Others say it was a complete fabrication from beginning to end. But if it was a lie, it remains unclear why it was ever created in the first place. The fact that even the name Karadedeler has been used in Anatolian folktales for centuries to describe invisible dark entities suggests that this entire story might have been carefully constructed around a culture of fear. So was this mysterious event the result of a supernatural haunting? Or was it a fear campaign orchestrated by human hands? What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're curious, do your own research. And let's try to uncover the truth behind the Karadedeler incident together. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. By liking and commenting on the videos, you can help support the channel. See you in the next one.